Hi, I'm Jim Tretow, host of the Bull Ring on Racing America and Track TV. I think cover all things short track racing, and I've had the good fortune for the last 10 years or so watching this young man win a bunch of races and now a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series championship. Let's welcome in the 2015 inaugural Kulwicki Cup champion, Ty Majeski. Ty, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Yeah, off season is finally here. So, yeah, that's exciting for maybe a little bit, but yeah, we'll be back after too long.
So when it comes to racing at all levels, you have accomplished a lot in these last 10 years. But in 2014, you set out to win the Midwest Tour Championship, which you did, but you hadn't been in super late models much before that. What attracted you to apply for the 2015 Kulwicki Driver Development Program?
Well, honestly, Tom Roberts reached out and, we had kind of sprung onto the scene a little bit. I dabbled in some late model racing with a couple teams in the Midwest and, obviously got hooked up with Toby Noodleman and Brad Manstead and everybody, those guys in lacrosse and kind of burst onto the scene a little bit in 2020, I'm sorry, 2014. And yeah, Tom Roberts reached out and said, "Hey, we're launching this Quickie Driver Development Program." I obviously knew the name Alan Kulwicki, but and knew a little, kind of just, I knew he was a Cup champion, and I knew that he did things, a little bit more differently than everybody else with his engineering background. And other than that, that's really all I knew about him. So Tom Roberts said this is, kind of told us about the program and told us what it would entail, and yeah, it was a no-brainer for us because at that point I had been, going to school at UW-Madison, pursuing my engineering career, and really, it was a great fit for me, a great fit for our team, and little did I know it was going to propel my career to the next level. So. Yeah, a lot to thank for everybody at the Quickie Driver Development Program and learning about Alan's legacy and applying that to my own career in my own way was, incredibly beneficial for my career.
And during that year in 2015, you got a chance to race for a Midwest Tour Championship, which you won again. But you also got a chance to a couple times to race against the ASA now CRA Super Series at Toledo in a combination race. And you got a taste of some guys that are not so familiar to you racing wise. How much did the Quickie program and that profile help you when it came to pursuing that? I know it's a points race, but in reality, that also led you to your first snowball derby start in 2015 as well. The concept of all that combination of the awareness, the national attention, how much did that help you guys figure out we need to do more than just race around the Midwest now?
Yeah, I think for us it was it was extra ambition, create ambition within our team and force us to step outside of our comfort zone and be on the national stage a bit more. And yeah, it gave us the drive and the will to want to go out and do other things and be better for ourselves and for the community as well. So yeah, I think that's one thing that the program does is really puts things into perspective on hard work really does pay off, and Alan was the perfect example of that. So I think it really promotes that kind of work ethic within the members of the Quickie program, whether you even make the program or not. You learn a lot about it just in the application process and through interviews, and it certainly makes you step back and say, "Man, I could be doing this differently. I could be doing this better. I could be putting more effort in here." So. For me, it was just a great learning experience to understand what it took to be a racer and what it took to be a successful racer. And yeah, that's something I'll forever be thankful for.
And that opportunity, I think, and those successes came with the idea that there is opportunity because there is awareness for you. Racing for ARCA races, racing for your first truck race. Thinking back to those days, you were still racing 30, 40, 50 super late races a year. But when it came to that next step was that Kulwicki did a lot of it on his own. He moved out of Wisconsin, literally with a pickup truck and a tow behind trailer to start his NASCAR endeavors. When you got those first opportunities, what was it like? Was it so foreign or something that you worked so hard for that had to be the next step for you?
Yeah, it's so difficult moving on to any next step because you're never quite sure if you're ready for it until you get into it. I was fortunate enough to have quite a few good people around me. Every time I took the next step in my career, and it was always backed by good people and people that helped me understand what it was going to take to be successful at whatever that next level was. And yeah, the Quickie program, I guess to me it put a lot of eyes on us. I think in that first year really got a lot of attention. I think Steve Apel and I were really going at it in the win column, and we were pushing each other, off the racetrack too. And I think that's one of the special things that the program does is it forces you to, not forces, but encourages you to give back to the community, and I think that's something that I probably would have never done without that. And I'll forever be grateful for, the program, pushing us to be better people on and off the racetrack. So, yeah, and leapfrogging into different opportunities when you have that mindset and you're grounded like that, you're more prepared for that next opportunity. And like I said, I was just thankful enough to have enough good people around me and win enough races to where I was able to get different opportunities in some different types of vehicles.
And Ty, when it comes to getting an opportunity, sometimes it's a reset or an opportunity like you had at Thor Sport. You were hired on there. You didn't drive but a handful of races in a year that you were kind of the shock guy for the team. That engineering background, the shock mindset still carries through to today. But those important notes also lead to full-time opportunities for you that you made the most of now for what, 4 or 5 straight years now, racing full-time in the truck series. How about that, the knowledge and awareness you have to have outside of just, I want to drive, or I've got enough money, or you kind of have to know everything, right? And your specialties really have played well for you, haven't they? With the knowledge of the race
Yeah,
car, shocks and springs.
for sure. It's so hard to make it in this sport, even if you do have a checkbook that can sometimes only get you to, trucks or Xfinity or even ARCA. So, for me, there's a lot of great race car drivers out there that are capable of being successful at the highest level of this sport, right? The key is understanding your strengths and trying to set yourself apart from the rest of the group, right? I feel like there's other drivers that can win races and be successful in the opportunities that I have. And my thought process was, okay, how do I make myself different from the next guy? And my way of doing that was just the engineering side and having that engineering background. Started a little bit at Roush Fenway when I started there as a shock specialist, and as I went throughout my career and gained knowledge throughout late model racing, and was fortunate enough to be around a lot of smart people and just naturally picking up on trends and different things I was learning from different people I worked with, propelled me into really an engineering position at ThorSport. And I was not an engineer. I went for a couple years at UW-Madison, but didn't have my degree. But I used my knowledge from that I gained over the years of racing different disciplines, and was able to apply that in a really efficient manner at ThorSport. And I thought I brought some stuff to the table and was able to scan parts and got to see every chassis, every part at ThorSport for a few years or for a couple years, and pretty soon I was racing the parts I was working on, the parts I was scanning, and having that understanding over a vehicle is crucial. And I felt like that was the way I was able to set myself apart from the rest of the people that could go out and win races. So yeah, and the Quickie program really gave me that base, that basis, that mindset to go out and set myself apart in that way.
And accept the challenge. I know that I've had an opportunity to be around you where you won your first Slinger Nationals finally. Now you're four-time winner and tied with Joe Shear. You also had a chance to race in the 4-hour race during the Rolex 24, the IMSA Pilot Challenge, where you actually ran on the podium in your first ever road race at Daytona after 4 hours in a Mustang with teammates. I'm thinking there's got to be more to it than that, Ty. The drive, the willingness, the ability. We know you're really good at iRacing. How much do you have to consume all the time to get good like you have been given every opportunity?
Yeah, this is what I do. This is my life, right? If I'm not iRacing, if I'm not at the racetrack, if I'm doing something fun, it's for example, snowmobiling. And when Toby and I go snowmobiling, we spend half the time off the trail working on our snowmobiles, making adjustments to them, trying to figure out how to get them to go around the corner better, right? So like it's a mindset that is a part of you. It's not just a hobby or a job or a sport. It's truly a thought process and a way of life. And it's what I love to do. It truly is. And every aspect of what I do day to day, it really is centralized around racing and being better. No matter if it's, like I said, iRacing or playing NASCAR 25 or whatever it is, you're just always looking to be better at whatever you're doing. So to me, yeah, it takes a lot to do this and do it right and to do it at a high level. You see the Cup guys, they go 30, 38 or 40 weeks out of the year. It's nonstop for those guys, and the really, really great ones are really, really great for a reason. And it's because they put the most into it. Just like anything else in life, you get out of it what you put into it. And I feel like I'm, thankful, very thankful to have a good support system around me and my wife and family and all my late model guys that,
Yeah.
they're able to work on those race cars really hard when I'm out living my dream and running on Fridays in the truck series. So I have a lot of great people around me that, support me enough to where I can focus on being the best race car driver I can be. And yeah, I'm very blessed to have a lot of good people around me to help me do that.
A great core of friends. You actually moved back to Wisconsin. For those who don't know, racing in NASCAR does take its toll. Your shop's in Sandusky, Ohio. You have a house now in Wisconsin, and that means you're closer to your short track guys and closer to a track you enjoy, Wisconsin International Raceway, where you win a bunch of races, for the last 7, I think it is. The big Tuesday night in August, Gander Auto Group 250. You've got a lot of wins, a lot of trophies, a lot of success. But when it comes to the opportunities, you have the same core. How important is that for you? How would you say that's a value to consider when you're working with your short track guys? You've been around them since 2013, 2014, and they're still your team when you go racing. How important is that for others to say, find that core, find those people that believe in you that can be part of your program?
Yeah, it's a big deal, and I see it a lot. Like, there's a lot of great race car drivers that go through different opportunities and jump around from this team to that team. And racing is very cyclical. You're not always going to be you're not the position you're in is not always going to be perfect, and it's up to you to make the best out of each opportunity. And there was times in with Toby and the guys where we weren't quite as good as what we wanted to be, but we were all pulling the rope in the same direction, and we stuck with each other no matter if I messed up or Toby made a wrong adjustment or whatever the case may be. We always won and lost as a team, and to have that mindset together is a big deal. So we went, we didn't run this that well on Nashville this weekend. That was probably the worst weekend we put together in quite a while with Toby and I, and we're just pulling the rope in the same direction, trying to get better, right? Talking about, what happened, what we thought went wrong, and trying to be better for the snowball and Bigley coming up here in a couple weeks. So, there's no pointing fingers at each other. We just are honest with each other and know that we're just trying to win races together. So, to have that core group with you and to have a group that believes in you can go a long ways in your career. It's not always worth burning a bridge if things aren't going exactly how you want them to go. If it's a good group of guys and good group of people, stick with them, and great things will happen. It's a huge advantage to have been with Toby and Chris, Craig, and Banks and all the guys. We know what each other's going to do sometimes before
Mm-hmm.
we do it, and there's something to be said for that.
Is there any similarity to what you had built as a core around you at Thor Sport Racing? Joe Shear Jr., your crew chief, a bunch of short track racers, and a bunch of guys that may live in Charlotte but want to live in Sandusky, Ohio, working for Thor Sport, racing for championships. And the guys you have around you as your team guys, Brad Means and the guys. I mean, they've been lifetime racers, but they are true to the core as well. It's got to be a big support group that you kind of thrive around, obviously, finishing second this year and winning the championship last year in the Truck Series. Talk about the mindset there of now you're at the NASCAR's third highest level. You are right there and you are winning races, you're winning championships. How important is the core even at that level?
Well, it starts at the top, right? Duke and Ronda Thorson do a great job building, the atmosphere and the workspace for us to all be successful, and that trickles down from the top. And they do a great job of putting really good people in the key positions to be successful. We have all the tools up there to be successful and to win races week in and week out. Maybe a little bit of a down year this year as a company, but we were competitive and we were there when it counted and had a shot at another championship. I think this is the sixth or seventh year in a row that a Thor Sport truck has either won a championship or finished second. That's pretty impressive out of Sandusky, Ohio. We're pretty proud of that. We hang all our own bodies, build all our own chassis, completely self-sustainable in our shop up in Sandusky. So yeah, we have a great core group, right? Brad hanging the bodies, the guys in the chassis shop, body shop, the guys assembling the race trucks, and obviously all the crew chiefs and engineers and truck chiefs. We make sure we have key people in good positions, and we're able to train a lot of guys coming out of places like UNOH, a lot of hungry kids who want to be in racing, and we're able to bring those guys on and train them and turn them into truck chiefs and crew chiefs, right? It's not too often, we look outside the company to hire a position. Typically, we promote within, and the next round of guys come up, through the bottom and start off sweeping floors, and in 5 years they'll have the opportunity to be a truck chief. So a lot of the guys there are really a tightly knit group and are local to the Sandusky, Ohio area, and I think that is a piece of our success, and just being to control our own destiny and train people the way we want to train them and turn them into really good workers and successful racers.
I want to end our conversation by talking about the personal satisfaction of winning big things, winning the Kulwicki Cup, winning your fifth Oktoberfest 200 this past fall, where you tied Joe Shear for the most ever at that racetrack, winning the Winchester 100 and winning the Winchester rifle for the first time, getting these big wins, these signature wins. You're just 31 years of age, man. The list is pretty short of what you have yet to accomplish in short track racing, but it's got to be where these are my guys. We're going to keep doing this. We'll keep collecting those trophies, and maybe the third Stovall trophy is going to come your way again. Maybe the third one in the last 5 years, I think it is, 6 years. My goodness, you guys are doing good. How much
Yeah,
personal satisfaction do you have in that?
yeah, it's been a great run. Back in like 2010, 11, when I was running for Pathfinder Chassis out of Sun Prairie, and they're a great group of guys, and I just wasn't really that good then. And worked with Mike Butts in 2013, and then when I got with Toby in 2014, 2015, and so on, man, it has been complete. Really, it's been a complete blur. I mean, it's been over 10 years now. I think this is year 13 actually. I started in 2013 with Toby, and I never thought it would turn into this. There were times where I really wasn't doing that well, and my parents were like, "Yeah, I don't know, Ty, I don't know what next year will bring," and we're just flirting around 10th place at Midwest Tour races, or sometimes even worse. And sometimes you just have to get that right group of people around you that believe in you, and then you start to believe in yourself, and then it takes off from there. And once I got that good core group around me, my career took off. We've won a ton of races together, and it's been a special run. And there's a lot of correlation in my late model career as my NASCAR career. Got with the right group of people at ThorSport that believed in me, and the rest is history. So, been thankful to be in competitive equipment week in and week out. I feel like I have a shot to win every single truck race. I feel like I have a shot to win every single late model race, and I don't feel like there's a lot of guys that can say that in the country. So, very blessed to be in the position I'm in, and it's taken a lot of work to get here, and a lot of adversity, and a lot of great people, behind me in my corner to keep pushing me along, and to take weight off my shoulders when I need to, focus more on racing. I can't express to you how much goes into motorsports, and to be a successful racer, and having that good support group around you is so crucial to that. So, and I've got that with a great family, a great wife, and yeah, a great group of late model guys, and a great group of truck series guys. It's been a lot of fun.
And true to the program, I personally can tell you that the Winchester 400 victory was sweet. You did the Polish victory lap after that one. Your other most recent win, the Oktoberfest 200 at La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway, I got to call that one on stream as well. You also did the Polish victory lap. This is still something you carry on forward as part of a tribute to Alan and the program. And I tell you, I can't wait to see the next one. It could be happening this December in Pensacola, but it's just enjoyable to see that still from you with all the things you have going on. Yep, we're turning that baby around. We're doing the Polish victory lap after any of these wins, and the big ones too.
Well, the Polish victory lap is interesting because, I'm Polish, Majeski. So when I was a young kid, my dad's like, "Hey, when you win a race, you go around and do the Polish victory lap." So
Really, that
I,
you
I've
back
been do,
then?
I've been doing that since 2005. Every time I want a go-kart race, I go around backwards and do a Polish victory lap. It was, obviously my dad, saw Alan do that, and it was the Polish victory lap. And we're Polish people from, or my dad is from Pulaski, Wisconsin, and a lot of Polish there. So really, it was just again a natural fit for me with the Quickie program. There was ties there, even I didn't know. At the time, I didn't know that he, invented the Polish victory lap. So yeah, it's been something I've done my entire career and will continue to do. And I think it's just a great tribute to Alan and what he did for racing in general, and what he did for my career. And yeah, it's just kind of something I think I've done it almost every single win of my career. Always turn around and salute the fans backwards. So it's pretty neat.
I've had the pleasure of being in the grandstands the only two times Alan Kulwicki did it, at November of '88 in Phoenix and Atlanta in 1992. And I'll tell you, it's still a great pleasure. It's an honor to see how good you guys are, how many times you win, how many times you turn that thing around, doing those push victory lap. I'm guessing I was probably in the stands or on the call of probably 15 of your most recent wins in the last 6 or 7 years. It's an amazing run, and you are a great ambassador for this program. And I can't tell you how excited we are to make tribute to all these champions. But you being the first means so much to what can accomplish, what can be done, and you're proving every day that this is how you need to do it. And the dedication certainly reflects well on the program as well. Ty Majeski, thanks a bunch for your time.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks a lot for having me.